been so gracious towards us throughout the last week. He has blessed us. He has given us the strength, the knowledge, the wisdom, and everything that we need for our lives. So shall we all praise our God by singing the song, Shepherd of my soul, and give you full control.
Pin number 345, page number 125. Pin number 345, page number 125.
She's a good singer, but I never get a chance to listen to her voice. But today we have a chance to listen to her voice, to sing her. So I would like to invite Mrs. Dorothy Cook to come forward and favor us with a special song.
Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 to 27. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but the only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who completes in the games goes into the strict training. They do it to get the crown that will not last. But we do it to get the crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I take the blood to my body and make it is myself, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. This is the living word of God.
Good evening. It's a nice time for all of us to be in God's presence and to listen from God's word. I thank all my team members, tutorial group, for leading us in this evening worship service, and also I thank Sister Dorothy Cook for singing a nice song and leading us in a good time of worship. The scripture portion for this evening meditation is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 to 27, that has been already read to all of us. Here, Christian life is compared to athletics, running, athletic race. Throughout the Bible, we have various imageries to depict the Christian life. In this passage, we have two imageries. The first one is about a running athlete, and the second one is about a wrestler. These two imageries are very, very important as we proceed to understand the nature of Christian life and in what way we need to follow our Christian life. However, this evening I will be concentrating more on the first imagery, that is the running race. So this 1 Corinthians 9 is part of one unit. We consider it as 1 Corinthians chapter 8 to 10. 1 Corinthians 8 to 10 is about participation in the idol food. So the Corinthian church had some misunderstanding whether we can participate with the idol food or temple food. For us it is idol food. For a Gentile person it is a temple food or a sacred food. If someone asks us the same question, whether we can participate or not, we may give a simple answer or a one-word answer, no. In my school days and in college days, I also faced the same problem as some of you also might have faced the same thing when you study in a college or in a workplace where they conduct some kind of puja, where it is mandatory for everybody to participate in the prasadam. In Indian language we say prasad. Sometimes we have difficulties, and for some people there is no difficulty. So the answer for us is very simple, but in the first century context, in the Corinthian context, the answer was not so simple. Therefore, Paul has taken 3 chapters to explain his stand on participation in the temple fold. In chapter 8, we see a moderate view of Paul. He is not condemning directly, but says that if a weak brother happen to see a strong man, a person with knowledge, sitting in a temple cafeteria and having food, the weak man's conscience may be emboldened to participate in the idol food. Therefore, the sake of weak brethren, we have to control ourselves. And also Paul himself said that he will not consume meat anymore. It has very complicated type of backgrounds. This evening my exposition is not that much going into that side. Therefore, program is not going to be explained. Then in 10th chapter we see very harsh, very direct type of statement, flee from idolatry. In chapter 8 it is somewhat moderate, and in chapter 10 it's a strong word, flee from idolatry. Then what is the function of chapter 9? There is not any kind of mentioning of idol food in chapter 9. But Paul says about some of his apostolic rights. Because the Corinthian believers from Jewish and Gentile background, and the social composition, if we consider the social composition, some of them were from high social strata and majority were from lower social strata. For example, Gaius was the host of whole church and he was a host to Paul. Many itinerant evangelists visited Corinth and Gaius was hosting them. Therefore, he considered him as a master, a patron. Or there is a name Erastus. Erastus is considered as the city treasurer. There were a group of people traveled from Corinth to Ephesus and met Paul. We consider them also as people of high class. So a group of high class people were part of the Corinthian church and majority were low class. Some of them had a government job. They had to participate in civic meetings. They had to participate. It is mandatory because sometimes emperor organizes the meal. Sometimes it is because of a victory in a game or part of their state programs. Therefore, the state officials had to be part of that program. And most often, this kind of program, this kind of meal program were started with a small sacrifice. Most often, this kind of programs were conducted in the temple premises, and the food were offered in the temple cafeteria that had so much space for all those things. Therefore, more than what we understand, the problem is very complicated. So the people who wanted to participate because of their civic, social status and government job, they tried to justify themselves, saying in chapter 8 it is written that there is no idol, there is no demon at all. We have only one God. We have only one Lord Jesus Christ. Then what is the problem in participating in this kind of things? Then Paul says that what you say is right. There is no other God. There is no other Lord. There is no demon. We understand all these things. But everybody doesn't have this knowledge. They try to use their knowledge to justify their actions. And therefore in 8:1, Paul says that knowledge puffs up, but the love builds up. So what we need is not to argue with your knowledge, but we need to be considerate by exercising your love, God's love. That is the way you can care for weak brethren. So with that background, he says that as an apostle, I have a few rights. I have the right to collect money from Corinthian church, but I never did it. I have the right to go with my wife, just like any other apostles. So Paul and Barnabas did not make use of that rights. So he tries to list out a group of a few rights that he had by virtue of his apostolic position, but he did not make use of such things. Then he appeals to Corinthian church, saying that although I have this right, I relinquish my rights. Similarly, you also have to relinquish some of your rights that you claim that it is yours for the sake of the weak people. Therefore, in relation to the running race, my first point is about self-restriction. Self-restriction for the common good. Running was very common event in Corinth, in ancient Greece. And people were aware of their lifestyle. Athletes had their own food habits. They did not consume all the food that was available. I happened to read the life of Tiger Shroff. You may all know that one of the handsome person in the film, Bollywood film. So in one of the interviews, he said that he never had a pizza. Almost for the last 5 to 6 years, he never had something like that. Why? Because what the trainer allows him to take, he just consumes what the trainer allows. So we see him with beautiful body, very nice, handsome man, and he performs fantastically. But he has a strict training, a secret life in which he consumes only what the trainer gives. He doesn't take anything what he wanted to. He doesn't go after his own cravings. So there is self-restriction is important in the life of an athlete. Sometimes we have lot of addictions. Sometimes we have lot of cravings. The cravings like sometimes food. Food is a craving. We eat more than what is needed. And many a time our sickness is because of overconsumption. We eat so much food unnecessarily. Our desire, our cravings sometimes function as a hook. The hook that takes us deviant from the track where we need to run. Sometimes our craze towards mobile applications, or some kind of things like our social media. We need to be updated in social media. We always share something. How many people click like? How many people commented? We always look at the things. Sometimes if less people comment or press their like, we are not that much satisfied. So this kind of things, or posting our photos in Instagram, in many places. This type of craze. We need mobile, we need many things, social media, but the craze that sometimes functions as a hook. Sometimes some people are interested in politics, church politics. One of the graduates a few days back came to our college and said very, very sad things about his life in the church. It's not about his personal life, but what he sees around. The politics. The incapable people are coming to the leadership by their politics and destroy the institutions that the church runs. The person who is in charge of the property, we consider him as a custodian, property manager. But he asks or bargains for 50 lakhs rupees, saying, you give 50 lakhs, we will give a property worth 1.5 crore in Guntur itself. God appointed him as the custodian of the properties. So the politics and gradually that somehow destroys Christian institutions. Once a time earlier, Christian schools, Christian hospitals, Christian colleges were very, very famous. But nowadays, most of these things are going down. Purposefully making it in such a way that they can sell the things later or give it in lates. All this because of the cravings for money, cravings for position, and many things. So their running is not forward, their running is backward. So sometimes we have to have self-restrictions in our life in order to run forward. So this is what Paul says, a runner. Do you not know that in a race all runners run? They have their own training. There are many things, but in relation to our message, I talk about self-restriction. It is not an imposition by someone else, by some authorities, but it is a self-restriction from our own side for the betterment of our life. To finish our race, we may have to have self-restrictions in our life. The second thing I like to notice in relation to this passage is that each runner has a track to run. There's a lane for everybody. Sometimes you may remember that in 1986, a girl called Shiny Wilson, some of you may remember, Shiny Wilson from Kerala. She participated in Seoul World Athletic Federation program. In 800 meters, she came first. but immediately she was disqualified, saying that in the beginning part of her run, she changed the lane, she changed the track, and therefore she is disqualified. So we have a track given to us, and we have to follow the track. I understand the term track in relation to this message as the diverse ministries that we are part of. Each one's gift is different, our calling is different. We have our own freedom. And when we go by part of our ministry called, we need to understand it is not just by our will. There is God's will in our life. Then accordingly we have to go in our track. A few days back I was reading Exodus, and I somehow noticed in chapter 25 Moses was given strict warning as he was leading the people of Israel and making tabernacle. There were strict warnings. In 25:9 it is written, this tabernacle and all furnitures you have to build exactly like the pattern I will show you. And also in chapter 25 verse 40, see that you make them according to the pattern shown to you on the mountain. Chapter 26 again verse 30, set up the tabernacle according to the plan shown you on the mountain. Again chapter 27 verse 8, make the altar hollow out of boards, it is to be made just as you were shown on the mountain. So repeatedly Moses was given warning, you have to follow the pattern that is shown on the mountain. It is Moses, you are a leader. You want to take care of the work, the constructions, many things are there. But always you have to remember according to the pattern shown to you on the top of the mountain. So the track is very, very important. The plan is important. We might be builders, but there is a plan. There is a plan of architect. Paul also says the same thing in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 10 to 15. No need to read now. So there is that we have to follow a few rules and regulations that is set before us. So there is a track for everyone, and if we miss that track and follow our own track, we might be disqualified at the end. In relation to this running, the third thing that comes to my mind is run with others. Run with others. Most often we emphasize the similarities between athletes and Christian life. At the same time, we need to understand the differences as well. One of the major differences I see that is the prize is not given for the fastest runner. Whereas in athletic competition, the prize is given for the fastest runner. You know, Usain Bolt, a few years back, he participated in three Olympics. He was the fastest runner. He was able to, he could finish 100-meter race less than 10 seconds. So in 1 second, he covers more than 10 meters. So that much he was fast. But Christian life is not like that. There is a long run, and it is not to defeat others. In the athletic federation, in the competition, how much people you defeated, that's very important. But in Christian race, your prize is not depending on how much people were defeated by you. How much, along with how many people you could run and made them to run. That's very, very important. The prize is not for the people who are running over others. The prize is not for defeating others, not for discouraging others. How far we are encouraging others and run with others, that's very, very important. Defeating others in a worldly standard might be considered as a qualification, but in Christian race, that itself is a disqualification. Sometimes we are so proud that my running is so fast. If we want to be very fast, we have to be alone. If we want to run with others, we have to slow down. Slowing down is very, very important. In Hebrews chapter 12, it is written, run with the perseverance. It's not for the fastest runner, but there are many situations where we don't like, but we have to run with perseverance. We have to run with others. As we are going to be leaders of the church in the coming days, we need to always understand and always encourage others to run with other people. Running with other people is very difficult. We are in charge of others. We are responsible people. I remember a few years back, I was teaching in another college in Kerala. As part of our retreat, we were taken to a hotel. And on Sunday morning, we had a preacher from US, Pastor David. I still remember the way he ministered to us. We just gathered together, just the staff of that Bible college. Then at Sunday morning, he started to share, and from his ministry, we identified him as a prophet. He had the prophetical ministry. So, after a while, he started to prophesy to each staff, each faculty members. And when it came to my turn, he directly told me that you are not in the first line. I was so discouraged. See, before the director, the principal of that seminary, and with other staff, and this man who doesn't know me, I consider myself as a very nice man, and he says, I don't see you in the first line. As if I am a backslider. Then again he said, you are not even in the second line. I was again disheartened. I was so discouraged. Then he said, I see you in the third lane. Your ministry is to encourage the people in the third line and say, let us also run fast and reach the first line. Then I was so encouraged. I consider that as my ministry. Many temptations come to our life, but I always remember my calling is to be in the third line and encourage people to go and encourage them saying, let us also run together, run fast and reach the first line. I have heard many prophecies in my life about many things, but I don't remember exactly. But these things I remember. Why? Because I consider it as very genuine in relation to my call. Being in the second line or third line is very difficult. You always want to reach the first line. That's right. But individually we can reach individually the first line, or we can defeat many people. But that is not our calling. Our calling is to run with others. Run with the weak people. That is possible if we have that commitment. So if you remember, our Christian race is not to defeat other people, run over other people, or to discourage other people, but run with others. That is the ministry. That is the ministry given to each one of us. That is the calling that God has given to each one of us. In relation to that, Paul says at the end of his ministry, in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7 and 8, he says that I completed my race. I fought a good fight. I completed my race. I kept my faith. And I'm waiting for the crown of righteousness. And the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me that on that day. Then it is, next verse is very important. Not only to me, but all those who are waiting for his appearance. Paul never said that crown of righteousness is waiting for me alone. Paul never said that I defeated many people and came to the first line. Paul ran with other people. And even when he says that I completed my race, I kept my faith, he still says, I have a reward. I know that reward. The crown of righteousness is waiting for me. But it is not only for me, but it is for all those who are waiting for his appearance. The Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on that day, along with others. He was so inclusive in his statement. So many a time we say about finishing our race. But finishing our race is not something like I alone finished my race. But where are the people to whom you were responsible? That's very important. God has given us a few people along with us as in charge. We are the custodians, we are the responsible people. But as the situation passes by, many times we run fast and they are backside. It is my appeal, and this is the word of God this evening time. Are we able to run with other people? Where are the people to whom you are responsible? The gift, the talents that is given to you is not for yourself, not for myself alone. In 1 Corinthians 12 it is written, the gift of the Holy Spirit is given for the common good. It is not for the individual, not for the individual's benefit. If I have the healing power, it is to heal other people in the name of Jesus. So the gifts are given for the common good. It is for others. If we are faithful in discharging our duties and gifts, then people will be with us. Paul said, I know that I am waiting for that crown of righteousness, but it is not only for me, but all those who are waiting for his appearance. That's very important in our lives. It is not something like exclusively we are called for ministry. We are called for a ministry, that is correct. But it's an inclusive call. We have to run with others. As family people, where is your wife? Where is your husband? Where are your children? Where are your parents? Where are your neighbors? The Spirit of God has put some burden in your heart to take care of a group of people. And where are they now? Are they disheartened because of our life? Or are they with us even now? In relation to this running race, my first point was self-restriction. We may have the right, we may have the authority, power, everything necessary to go forward, but we may have to self-restrict ourselves for the sake of other people, for common good. We have a track to follow. It is not by our will that we run. The one who called us to run gave us a plan of running, gave us a ministry of running. There are diverse ministries out there. God has set us in a particular track that we have to follow it. Then most importantly, we have to run with others. Paul says that, do you not know that in a race all runners run, but only one gets the prize? Next line is important. Run in such a way that you may win the prize. It is not for one person. Everybody should get the prize. That was the ultimate aim of Paul, and therefore he adjusted his life, that is explained in chapter 9. To the Jews he became Jews. To the Gentiles, those who do not have the law, he became just like a person who do not have the law. That is the way he adjusted in such a way, and his aim was so that everybody win the prize. Everybody should get that prize. That should be our aim as well. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Let's all close our eyes and look to the Lord in prayer. Let's pray. Gracious God, our Heavenly Parent, thank you for this wonderful time of praise and worship and meditation you have given to each and every one of us, Lord. Lord, we pray to you. Lord, we praise and worship you, Lord, according to our capacities. Please bless and guide each and every one of us, Lord. Lord, we also pray for the opportunity. Lord, bless each and every one who have given their hands forward to help in the ministry, Lord. Lord, who are not able to give the offering, Lord, help them so that they would take part in the offering in the days to come. Lord, we also pray for the word that has come to us. Lord, help us to reflect our lives according to the word that you have spoken to us. Lord, bless the preachers of George Philip and bless his family so that he might be a blessing to many others like us. For we ask this in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. Let's say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever and ever.
May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the sweet communion of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with us now and forevermore. Amen.